Epsilonian Republic presidential / prime ministerial debates. We will be starting towards with questions that are addressed to everyone, which will go in a a right to left order, or a left to right order. So we'll be starting with modern on the all questions. I'll be waiting for Sesh to say he's started, and then I'll ask the first question. All right. These questions were submitted by the public. Blame Sans. All right. The first question I have here. Let's see. And there will be pauses between the questions because I have to find a good question each time.
Yeah, there's.
So
I think
I'll ask this question to everyone. Will you join a coalition with your party? Will you join a coalition with another party to form a majority government? And which parties would you consider joining a coalition with? And I'll ask modern.
If we get a majority, then we don't have to do this. We can just make a change to our republic.
Yes,
and such we're just gonna start with the majority. If we're not, I think we're gonna form some confidence and supply. Yeah, that's the word. Confidence and supply. Another party.
Pixl.
Right. Question was who I would form a coalition with if I needed a majority, yes?
Yes.
I would likely look currently towards the parties that share my common goals, which appear to be at the moment Elite Neon and the Social Democrats of Epsilon. However, any party that is interested in working with my party towards the common goals of forming a decentralized democratic Epsilon Republic, I would be more than happy to work with them to achieve what we have in common.
All right. Fjork?
I will make a coalition to have the majority, and I should choose a party that also wants to decentralize the government and make the people happy of being part of our society. That's why I choose the Liberal Party, but because I mean the Lama Libertarians. But to be honest, I also choose the Lama Libertarians, because because I I heard since that.
All right, Elite Neon.
Okay, thank you for that question, Echo, and I'd just like to thank everyone for being here and say good evening. I would likely form a coalition with the Lama Libertarians, and while I think that there has to be some form of a federal government, and that federal government should be the boss when it comes to infrastructure, I do believe that we should move towards decentralization because it has not gotten us into a good place at this moment. I would definitely form a coalition with the Lama Libertarians. I stand with them on most issues, and yes, that is it. And thank you all for coming here, and thank you for including me in this wonderful debate.
All right. That is all for the first question. My second question to all of you here is, what would the Epsilon Republic look like under your leadership? What is the ideal Epsilon Republic under your presidency or prime ministry or whatever? And they'll go modern effort.
Republic of Epsilon will become more and more better under our leadership. We have revised all of our policies, and thus our motto is integrity, integrity, prosperity, and opportunity. I think the main goal is to make the Republic of Epsilon a full democracy, and thus making sure that everyone has fair share and a say in our democracy.
All right.
That's our main goal.
Our goal is to more or less transform the Epsilon further into the path that we've already been trying to take it on, and that is a rather decentralized republic with a high degree of transparency. We want to abolish all non-elected positions, and we want to grant more powers to the states and cities in the republic. Ideally, the ideal Epsilon Republic for us would serve primarily to foster cooperation rather than tell cities and states what they can and cannot do.
As a follow-up, Vulpicula, how would you distinguish yourself from the Liberal Party?
Well, the Liberal Party has a much more, how would I describe? It has a history of often squashing such movements of democracy, as it did several weeks back, even months. We have a much longer history of consistently fighting for this. We were also the party that had in the past pushed towards the democratization of the administrative positions and guaranteeing free speech in the Discord. We are pushing much harder for things such as decentralization and will fight for democracy at all costs, as we have already been doing previously.
All right, Fjork.
Well, uh, um, well, under my government, we would have things that could have our members memorable moments and making them feeling proud of being members of Epsilon. So the I will make events like the Epsilon Awards that I tried to make it last year, but I didn't because there were no much members. And I also would make an Olympics under on the Epsilon, and perhaps a split league
Will it cost?
for us all. And I would also decentralize the government, but I'm pushing for most people voting on me. Not that I am just looking for people to vote on me, but yeah, it will really be important for me if I win this. Elite?
All right, on to Elite.
Can you folks hear me?
Yes,
You're a
we
little
can.
loud, friend.
Yep, friend.
Yeah, pardon me. I don't know how to turn this thing down, but under a renewal administration, we will completely restructure the Constitution. We're going to have strong states, but we're also going to balance it out with a strong leader who has veto powers. We're going to introduce federal infrastructure. We are going to introduce
You're gonna
a
introduce
federal.
the Zeta Republic to the Epsilon Republic?
No, I object to that assertion, Mr. President. Look, all I'm saying is that we want a I agree with Bob Pickett. We want a decentralized government. We also want but I personally want a strong leader who does have veto powers, but is not a complete tyrant. And not to say that any previous presidents have been tyrants. Believe me. We're going to go with federal infrastructure. We're going to have federal highways, federal rail, and yeah, that's about it. We're going to maybe we're going. Yeah, that's about it. And yeah, I'm not doing very well, am I?
All
There you
right. One modern art, please. If you want to interject, please do it after the candidate is done speaking. And Vulpicula, you may feel free to respond.
Okay. Your policies seem very similar to that of the Zeta Republic. We do not want to become another Zeta Republic. And furthermore, giving the president more veto power and much stronger power overall is hard to do while also guaranteeing the rights of the internal constituent states and cities. I think that we should adhere to what the people want rather than what the president wants, if those should differ.
I'd like to just tack on to that, if I may.
Yes, sure.
Uh, I want a strong leader in the sense that the veto power can be overridden, like in the United States Congress. And I would like to ask you, Vulpicula, why should we become less like the Zeta Republic? And what specifically has the Zeta Republic done to deserve all of this attention. The Zeta Republic is just getting going, and they are trying very hard to preserve and maintain a democracy, just like we should be.
Elliot, can I please stop you for making saying something about the Zeta Republic that quite of annoys me?
Well, I object.
So,
If Volpicula gets to mention the Zetans, I get to mention the
Yeah,
Zetans. We all get to mention the.
Okay, yeah.
I agree with Elite
if
here. We
you
should all
both
we should be able to mention
the
what.
Zetans, I also want to mention the Zetans.
Okay,
Can
who
I
wants to
please
respond first? Okay, I'll let Fjork respond to
Mm.
Elite here, and then Vulpicula can if you wish.
respond? Respond what?
Well, I don't know. You were asking if you could respond.
So I am asking why you choose a flag that looks very similar to Epsilon and Republic. One of us had to change the flag.
I don't think this really pertains to the debate right now.
Yes,
I,
this is such a minor thing that I do not think it is relevant.
Yeah,
Proceed.
sorry.
I would just like to respond in that sense that Mega came up with the flag. It is admittedly a knockoff, and it is in a joke sense it's a knockoff. But once the Zetans will get up and running, I assume that the flag will be changed.
I would also like to add a comment as to regards to the thing that Elite said, not in regards to the flag. The flag thing is very irrelevant to the current.
Okay, yes, feel free.
If the two MPOs are become increasingly similar, what is the point of both to exist? What would set them apart? Why would you join one or both if they're very identical?
Can I interject?
It would be like two united cities existing at once. What's the point? There has to be some differences in how each is run.
There is a question on this later, which we should probably.
Oh yes, I will let Modern speak, and I think then we should move on to the next question.
Yes.
I think the issue is direct democracy or a federal parliament democracy. The Epsilon Republic is a federal parliamentary democracy, and I think we should stay and remain like that. The Zeta Republic is a direct democracy of one party, consists of one party, and I don't think that's democracy at all. I think this is the best democracy in the MRT.
Well,
I would request that we move on to the next question. I do not want to keep everybody here all. Elite, we can settle this later if you'd like.
Yes. I'll be asking a question about this later when you can bring this up. So, the next question that I have here, you know what, I'll probably just segue. What do you think? Actually, no, I'll ask that question. What do you think of the practice of bringing new people in to the Epsilon Republic just to have them vote for your party? This has been something that has happened multiple times in the history of the Epsilon Republic, from I-7D and friends to the whatchamacallit party, People's Party. So what do you think of this practice? Because it has been demonstrated, and it does happen to this day, bringing new members in that don't really know much about the Republic and having them vote for your party. I'll start with Modern.
For this election, I've ensured that this doesn't happen. This election is already under PERDA, which means that no cities can join anymore. So that's why
You did change that to allow Elite to join, though.
Yes.
You wanted to, yeah.
People have been joining this entire election largely brought on by you and have coincidentally almost entirely been voting Liberal. I think this is a very dishonest and often the almost corrupt method of swinging the election into the favor of a certain party. I think it is a massive detractor to democracy, as these people are being brought on not because they actually want to be a part of the Zeta Republic, because they enjoy its systems and because they wish to be active participants, but entirely because they're your friends and you want them to vote for your party. This produces people who are here with the goal of just voting and not actually participating in the systems that make this republic unique. I think overall it not only distorts our democracy in the favor of one party so that it can get complacent, it also makes the system itself far less interesting and less entertaining.
Is someone
Okay,
clapping?
unless Modern wants to
If
respond,
you
I'll
can't
move on
hear,
to
I'm
Fjord.
clapping. Vopicula.
Okay,
Thank you, Fjord.
Thanks.
let's have the not audience stop clapping. If Modern does not want to respond, then I'll move on to Fjord.
Didn't know where to respond.
Okay, Fjord?
So, I'm gonna be honest. I already tried for this election to bring new people to the party.
You've asked me personally to bring your own towns to rig the election. I don't think.
Look,
That is a bit detestable, yes.
first of all, I didn't wanted to join. Honestly, I didn't want to join all of my towns, and yes, there are many towns. I didn't wanted to join my towns to rig the election and win. I wanted to bring my towns there because there are actually two MPOs that I'm participating. The Epsilon Republic, that is Valence and Southburg, and the United Kingdom of Yorkistan, that I own. And theoretically, Southburg and Valence still are controlled under the UKF. But so, but I honestly think after the Vipicula said, I honestly now think that bringing people to the Republic only for voting for you, it's kind of wrong. Uh, and they actually need to join because of of its qualities. That's what I think.
Alright,
Someone else wants to say something?
Elite Neon.
I'd like to ask if you could ask the question again after all this time. I regrettably forgot.
What is your opinion on members of the Epsilonian Republic, specifically political party leaders, bringing in other people that do not know much about the Republic, such as new members or, their IRL friends, onto the server so that they can vote for their party, thus pretty much rigging the elections?
Well, look, I am not innocent in this battle. You see, I was one of the people who joined this republic at the very end of 2018 to preserve democracy under the People's Party. And that was the right move, but however, that did set a bad precedent. Because what if the opposite? What if some other party, some majority party, could get their friends and have them all join, which has happened before, and to rig the election. And so I think the one time I did it, it was fine. But any other times, in any time, even times where I may be a participant,
They justify that.
are just bad for this.
Please, no interruptions. Volpicula would like to comment. Go ahead.
I'd like to add that that is incredibly hypocritical. The one time I did it, it was fine, but all other times it was not fine is definitely hypocritical. Just it just says that just because I did it because of something that I believed in, but it's wrong because if somebody else does it is definitely not something that I would want in a quality of a leader. I think in a case where the entire election is at a heavy risk of being swung by this, these qualities are not desirable. People should be in their public because they want to be in the republic. I think that would also ensure that once they are in the republic, they are active, enthusiastic, and willing to participate and possibly even form their own political parties for the benefit and competition of the democracies thrive with a trial by fire like method where the best party survives because of its own qualities and because it is able to distinguish itself from the other parties. With a system where we do have almost rigging levels of these sorts of members joining, that is a massive detractor for that. It throws water on that fire that democracy thrives on.
Alright, Elite Neon would like to respond. Go ahead.
Well, yes, you got me there, and you won this part of the debate. But I would just like to point out that even when I joined this republic under the People's Party crusade, most of us immediately left because there was not much left to fix, and that explains basically you're right, Vulpicula, and I see that, and that even when I did it, I left immediately.
I
All
would
right,
like to add.
Vulpicula, let me comment.
Hold on, let me just check your slogan again. I would like to add that your slogan is from the people who wanted renewal from the start. You had mentioned that you had left the Republic when you did not get what. Contrast this to the Llama libertarians who have stuck with it since the incident happened, constantly pushing for democracy. Why should people favor a party that has a history of its leader leaving the whole thing when it does not get what it wants and only rejoining once things look like they're going the way that it's interested? I joined for once the republic became more democratic, and I'm wishing to continue this trend, fighting as hard as I can for the members of the republic to keep this going.
I'd like to be
I
brutally.
Okay, I'll allow you to respond. We should probably move on to the next question after this.
I'd like to say I'd like to be honest and say that you are right, and I just joined this thing so I could be in a debate, admittedly,
I don't blame.
and that yeah, well, I mean, come on, it's a debate, and in any case, yes, I left, yes, I did that, but now I'm back, and well, I mean, it's not like anything's gonna happen for my performance in this debate, so I might as well have some fun. Good evening.
Okay, I will move on to the next question, which is some semi-related to this question. So, this is another question for all. What do you think about the practice, which has been spearheaded under the Liberal Party, of selling franchises for cheap prices, specifically if people join the Epsilon Republic, which has been notably criticized for having a large skewing towards the Liberal Party, considering the person who is selling these franchises is a member of the Liberal Party. It is semi-related to that, but the question is really, should we be selling franchises specifically to Epsilon members for a discount to get people to join the Republic, which usually will happen under the party of the person who has solicited the franchises, and I will allow Modern Art to go first.
This is our public services. We basically don't have a health system, a public education system until recently, and also other systems which are discounted at a price. I think that this will be beneficial to all towns in the Republic, and it's their choice. It's their choice to join the Liberal Party. It's not. It's not gonna be biased towards it. I'm just selling I'm just selling the franchises. But this is for advantage for our republic, not just the Liberal Party, and I think this accusation is wrong.
Neon would like to interject.
I'd like to remind the right honorable leader of the Liberal Party that this is Minecraft. We do not need an education system. We do not need a healthcare system either. And I think just yeah, that's what we don't need that. This is Minecraft. I'd also like to ask you if the sales, the purchase money from these franchises goes to you directly or into some sort of hedge fund managed by the Republic.
Great that you asked. Under a Liberal government, we will put an investment fund to a separate MRT bank account, which will make sure that every month we will make it like a UBO. Everyone gets the same amount of money every month. This is our policy, and also the money I plan to pledge in this investment fund will be £1,000. That's how much I am willing to invest. Such as you don't want to invest a single dollar into that investment fund since your party doesn't represent it.
All right, Elite Neon would like to interject, and then
Well,
I'll go to you.
I'd like to point out that the right honorable leader of the Liberal Party did not answer my question. Does the money from these sales go directly into your bank account, Mr. Leader, or does it go into a separate hedge fund? I didn't
He
ask
did
whether
a-
you would be.
He did answer that. He did actually answer that.
He did answer that. It would
Oh
go
Lord!
to a
Oh my
separate
God!
account.
If a liberal government comes into power again,
No, but I'm asking as a present. As a present, is it in a separate account?
we don't have an investment fund as of the present.
And so where has the money gone previously?
Account of mine.
See, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
I've just pledged in this debate that I will pledge $1,000 into the investment fund.
All right, I'll go into Vulpicula.
All right. Okay. So there are two things I'd like to address. Firstly, oh fuck, I just forgot both of them. Well, what was the question again? I do apologize.
The question is, what is your stance on the liberal policy of creating franchises for a large discount to incentivize people to join a republic?
I'm
Which,
going to outright say that it's of all the reasons to join the Republic that the Liberal Party has been using. This is one of the probably the better ones. It does actually give people in the Republic a benefit, and we do have similar proposals on the table for the Llama Libertarians. We have during the national government blocked involuntary taxation, so the government is going to need to raise money somehow, and selling franchises is a decent way of doing that. My own party is proposing that we sell these with a cut of the money going towards the people building them, causing people to actually be incentivized to work for their, with the rest going to a separate account, which will be used to pay for projects, subsidize things, and other stuff. There is one thing that did alarm me regarding modern. Forgive me if I have misunderstood, but you seem to be almost bribing players, saying that under a liberal government, people will be paid money. Will they just be paid money for doing nothing or being part of the republic, or will they be paying money? Be paid money for
Invest.
working? Like
To
otherwise, it does sound a lot like you are paying for a vote.
go to modern.
invest in the towns everywhere in the republic, not just in the bank accounts of the mayors. I want it to go to the franchises and to the infrastructure projects that we're planning right now. We're planning for Epsilon Rail, which is a state-run not bank account, a rail company, joint venture between New Rail, MRTHS, SEAT, and FLR. If this goes underway under a Liberal government, we can connect almost the first state of, which is Lumeva, to be connected to everywhere. That's where the funds go to, and I don't think this is relevant.
I think the TPS just dropped.
TPS is 19.95, so.
Okay, there was a lag spike. All right.
All right, we'll go into Fjork unless no one else has anything to say.
So, what's the question again?
Question is, what is your opinion on selling franchises to non-members of the Epsilon Republic to get them to join the Epsilon Republic?
I think is terribly wrong. From my part, I think most of the people know that even before Epsilon existed, I sold my franchises for a very cool price. And now that Epsilon is there, I sell the same franchises the same way, even for non-members, not because they, not because under the interest of their joining the republic, but because of the interest on developing their town.
This is the aim of the.
I would like to ask quite what you mean by that. Are you suggesting that you're not able to sell franchises the same way you used to because of the competition from the Epsilon Republic's franchise?
What do you mean?
I may have misunderstood you here. I am wondering if you are suggesting that you are not selling franchises anymore, even though you are trying to sell them and for the same price because of competition from the Republic of Epsilon's franchises, which are being discounted to Epsilon members.
Mm, uh, no.
Okay.
I am still selling. I'm still selling my franchises. Example, recently I've sold a Monica's bookstores
Okay,
for
that's
Sensei
fine.
from the same.
We probably shouldn't turn this into an advertisement for your franchises.
Yeah.
No, I'm not advertising my franchises. I'm just saying that I still selling my franchises, even though the competition of modern selling their franchises for maybe for maybe a smaller price, but I'm still selling.
Okay.
Uh,
Unless
yeah,
anyone has anything to say,
Hope
I'll
I
be
this
moving on.
answered your
I do
question.
actually.
Interject.
Okay, I'll let
Um,
Popicula and then Modern Art interject.
I think, to be honest, this is just normal competition in a capitalist system. I do not see anything wrong with this. If you would like to possibly sell more franchises, just either lower your prices or improve your. The Epsilon Public has actually been very competitive with its pricing, but most of its franchises are world-edited, so effort-wise, all it takes is a moderator. I don't see anything wrong with this. It just sounds like you are having issues selling in a more competitive environment.
All right, Modern Art, you may make your statement, and then we will move on. Okay. So, I'm going to ask two questions that are related to this. My first question will be towards you, Modern Art. What will you do if your proposal for a combined bank account is rejected? Because this is, well, I don't know how we'd actually do this, considering that the current economy plugin that we have does not allow for a bank account that is separate from a player. Would you have, yeah, and if
Can
your
you use
GSM proposal in general is rejected, what would you do to remedy that?
uh, if not, we can just do it in an alternative account, Minecraft account. That way that nothing gets, and then we can hopefully there is a system that tracks prices. If not, then I don't know how we're gonna price that. Then it will be voluntary fundraising. That's it.
What would you do if it was all out denied for this to happen at a GSM, i.e., they wouldn't allow you to have an alt account to collect money for this?
We'll have to we'll have to get another way to do that.
Okay. Also, I would like to note that unless the alt is a member, which is not allowed, it would not be able to pay anyone because guests cannot, or actually, no, guests cannot receive money. Or wait, no, guests cannot pay money, rather. All right.
Uh,
Unless anyone would like to
I
respond, I will move on to that.
I can answer next. It's sort of a response, sort of my own answer. I really should not be helping competition here, but I do actually have a suggestion for this on how you would solve it. I should not be helping competition, but it is for the benefit of the public, so I shall do it. Perhaps you can solve this by appointing a minister of the treasury or something, perhaps a trusted member who you have a history of has a history of being reliable and is active to the point where he can pay easily. um I would also propose some form of contract being signed. If he takes the money and run, there has to be some collateral as a motivator against it. But yeah, this is what I would do in your situation. I suppose if I was elected, as I have a similar policy on the table, I would likely do something identical to this that I proposed.
All right. And I will ask the second question that is related to the previous one. What is your plan, Modern, for the people who will go inactive because the only thing they joined the Republic for was the franchises. If there are those people, because for example, yeah, go ahead.
So I think inactive players, once they turn inactive, they should be just staying in the Republic, just being should stay in the Republic. I think the reason why is because we don't want to waste our time on this, because I think because our time would be better spend it on investing in our infrastructure and public transport and public rail and public services that we desperately need in the Republic.
All right, I will continue that question as, in your opinion, what do you think should happen to inactive members of the Republic? And I'll go to Volpicula because Modern has already answered.
There is an actual serious problem with. I recall it being discussed that if somebody does not vote, this whatever seat they had assigned previously will remain as is. So if somebody, let's say in my party, joined for a franchise and then went active, didn't do any vote, this would be basically a seat that we did not earn. We don't have to really work on keeping. It is a safe seat, which I don't think is good for the health of the Republic. This is a very, very good example of something that. Oh, very sorry. My apologies. This is a good argument that against the idea of discounting franchises. I personally would not discount them myself. As much as it is a good draw for the Republic, it does bring up such issues as this. As for inactive members in general, if they do wish to stay, there is no issue with that. I think after perhaps 2 or 3 sessions without them voting that their seat, they should be set to an observer status that is able to quickly oh my god, I'm tripping over my words. We should be able to they should be able to reintegrate quickly into the Republic again, but should be set as an observer to ensure that the people who participate in our political systems and are influencing it are active and engaged.
All right. Fjork, what is your opinion on inactive members?
What the inactive members? Okay, so I think that the inactive members would really be a problem in the future because with many parties, uh, with many with many people inactive because of the joining for voting the parties, people that might want to join for itself will can't join because the parliament is already full of people that can that are inactive. So I like the Vulpes idea of making it in the status of observer. So the parliament house won't be very full. And also, I also think is a very wrong thing having safe seats and make people join because of voting for your party. Next one.
Okay, we'll go on to Elite Neon.
Again, I'd like to ask what the question was. I believe this was the franchises.
No, the question is about what would you do about inactive members of the Republic, especially ones who were brought in specifically to get a free or discounted franchise and have
After
no
3 months, we
interest.
kick them out. After 3 months, we kick them out. That's simple.
Okay.
Okay.
Seems like Volpicula has his own question.
Sorry,
and
this is something that I have just noticed. The parliamentary elections have actually just concluded. I would also like to ask you why you started them before the debate. It almost, and they actually, with the date and the time the debate was arranged, they actually literally expired 4 minutes into the debate. I'm thinking perhaps it would be good if we redo the elections to basically let people, now that they have the information from the debate, to vote in a more educated manner. I'd also like the debate. Oh, not sorry. The election was actually started after we decided on a time for the debate. May I ask why you started the election this early?
That was just human error. That was intended for early voting before the debate, just in case if members wanted to vote before the debate. I'll make another
You made no actual
another vote.
indicator that this was for early voting. Everything indicated that this was the actual election. Everybody was under the assumption that this was the actual election. You really should have clarified. I think we should just possibly clear this off entirely and do a revote based on possibly open up the Epsilon Republic as well to people who have seen the debate and are interested in joining as well, and then immediately close off voting afterwards. I'm not sorry, new joining afterwards once the election has started.
All right. If Modern Art does not have a response, I will ask a question of Volpikilla. Volpe, what is your plan for elections in the future? Will you establish a sort of system of planned and well-timed elections that are not impromptu?
Yes,
So
I
that
think
people
that
have
I
the
think
opportunity.
I think that having a long and stable electoral period is key. Possibly a week long. That week, possibly also dissolving the parliament up to 2 weeks before. I think that these debates right now that we're having are a fantastic tool. I think that they should be scheduled on exactly 1 week or at least a few days prior to the electoral vote. An impromptu vote can catch people by surprise and people can just not be prepared. I and Percat were Percat especially, I were not prepared for the election to start this early. I think everybody was under the assumption that the election would start after the debate because that's what logically seemed to make the most sense. These should also definitely be timed for reasons of stability, unless otherwise stated, i.e. there should be a way to postpone it should something massive happen, like, I don't know, the server downtime.
All right, I'll go ahead to all of you. Some people in the past have, or right now even, have proposed a different electoral system. What would you do as president? Would you establish a new electoral system, possibly more multi-choice voting or ranked choice voting or runoff elections or etc.? And if you were to, would you establish a sort of electoral advisor, someone who is by basically not partisan, to oversee elections so that there would be the least amount of possibility for fraud? And I'll go with Modern first. Modern?
Right, so I don't think this is relevant because our system is already working fine. I think for the question on electoral advisor, our administrators in Discord are already impartial and thus should not be and the roles should not be changed. I think this is just irrelevant.
Okay, well, pick it.
Right, I would like to jump in and attack that immediately. Firstly, our electoral system working fine. We have had a question already about how the possible a possible election has been rigged as a result of members joining specifically to vote for this. Just if the fact we've had to have a question in regards to this indicates that things are not working as fine as you say they are. Secondly, our administrators, two of them, which is Modern and Extreme, are part of the Liberal Party. One of them, Sesh Penguin, is part of my party. This kind of precludes them being partisan. I mean, sorry, it kind of basically they're already part of a party. They're party members. That is already highly partisan. Well, I do agree that it is probably not possible for somebody to be completely unbiased, especially if they have any interest in the Republic whatsoever. I do not think them being partisan is a huge issue as long as they have integrity. I don't think. I think our electoral system right now is it is in need of some fixing. I think
All
the
right.
current most method of counting, which is Blogbot, is probably just as fine as it can be. A bot cannot have feelings; they're not sentient yet. But if it is if we do switch to a more complicated voting system, such as ranked choice voting, I think we will definitely need to look at somebody possibly outside the Republic counting the votes.
Is this the audience section of the debate?
No, it is not.
I think I'd also
I
actually
will
like to
go
propose
on
that we.
to Elite Neon here.
Hi. One last thing. I
Yes.
did have an idea. Perhaps with the audience, you probably want to run and do the telephone. We could possibly have the audience themselves ask us questions after the debate. After we've
Yeah,
run out
I
of these.
think once I'm done with questions, I'll have audience questions and then closing statements. Let's go on to Elite Neon as he asked you that he wanted to interject.
I would just like to point out for the record that anyone who could go into the People's Party Discord will see multiple instances of kicking by administrators, multiple instances of deleting comments, deleting reactions, and that is why we do not need we need unbiased administrators and not the current system.
All right, I will allow Vopicula and then Modern Art to
Yes.
interject.
I would actually like to compliment Elite. That is actually a very good point. We do have, not only do we have like rumors of this, we have confirmed, we have pictures taken of bans and kicks and censorship on 2, possibly even more occasions. One of which it was actually, which was months ago, is actually from Modern Art himself, who is a current administrator. During the second round of bans, it was from Extreme Coder, who is again also a current administrator. People were being banned for stating their dissatisfaction with the current republic and their concerns over the lack of democracy. This indicates that I do think we need a new moderation team. It is why I own administration team, which is why I've been fighting so very hard to ensure that these positions are elected, so that they are beholden to the people, and that if they screw up or piss off the electorate, that they can be voted out in a peaceful manner.
All right, I'll allow Modern to respond.
I'm going under administrator election. I don't know about Extreme, but I just banned them because of how vile the comments were towards me. So I think that was justified. My actions were justified. I don't know about Extreme, but however,
Ty,
under national
I'm
government,
sorry,
Let's
I'm
let
gonna-
Modern respond, and then we'll have
Okay,
Vopicula
sorry.
respond.
under
Modern,
national
are you-
government, we have pushed changes towards democracy, such as our constitution, and I think this will be better and make everyone more accountable to their positions.
If
Okay.
there's going to be any actual major critique of the Epsilon Republic, I'm going to be really brutally honest. Maybe that is how you see it, but everybody else saw that as legitimate criticism being said. You had promised democracy and electoral reform in the Republic, and when you denied that, people were understandably angry. They were criticizing you. They were demanding that you step down and that you open up the Republic. And as you continued to deny and delay, people did get irritated. People did want their criticisms did become probably more brutally honest than they should have been, but they were nonetheless criticisms. At times, people were being banned from the Discord for comments they did not actually make in the Discord. And they were being banned for all sorts of reasons, and along with censorship for people who were commenting against it. Echo Hui's leaving message, which was, might I add, a very peaceful message. There was no real negativity there. It was just a peaceful step down saying, I wish you luck, I hope everything goes well. That message was deleted. It wasn't inflammatory whatsoever. And then you later, after the incident, posted a rather inflamed comment calling I'm not crying, airplane. I'm just, this is how I talk. Do I actually say, okay, never mind. I think I've got like something in my throat anyways. I would You posted a retort after that, which branded Ekohu, who has basically he did post a comment that you posted a comment declaring him as a traitor and outside influences from staff members and moderators. Again, while more and more censorship is taking place, this is what those messages pertain to. This is, as Elite posted, a long list of deletions and kicks and bans, which were not repealed until days later.
All right.
This almost broke the Republic.
I'll allow Elite to put in his statement, and the Modern can respond to this.
I believe that Vulpicula has gotten everything, and I'd just like to state real quick that Extreme F was not an unbiased moderator, and I am currently looking for the screenshots and chat logs that show that Extreme did ban many dissidents. I cannot find them at the moment, but I will be posting them. Please go ahead.
Okay, sorry, another response to Elite. Yeah, I do think even the attitude after everything had settled down was very snide and at times almost antagonistic. I will admit that members of the Zeta Republic and the leading ones, some of them were not as diplomatic as our moderator was, but I do think the kicking and mass bannings were uncalled for. I legitimately felt that even if I posted any comment, any criticism in that time, that I would be kicked and banned, which is why I just mostly just sat and watched, because people who did post criticism, people who were annoyed, they got kicked and banned. People who just said goodbye got their goodbye messages deleted. Even though there is nothing inflammatory about saying, all right, I'm leaving the Discord, see you later, good luck with the Republic. This is not an inflammatory message. It is just a message wishing well. And those messages, they were being deleted.
All right. I'll allow Modern to respond.
Understand your criticisms of this. I think I have made changes towards this, and I think this is I apologize for this. I apologize right now that all these actions have been taken. These were mostly faulty or human error. I think this is our national government has reformed and made the republic more democratic, and I think that should stay the same.
All right. I'll have a follow up on that. Modern, what do you think? Why do you think why do you think the electorate of the Epsilon Republic should keep you in office after they have heard these facts? Why do you think that they should vote for you over Vulpicula or Fjork or Elite Neon, who have not done these things? And do you think you have changed since then?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interject. Modern Art himself is not actually running for this position. The current position is actually I ____ 70. I got that right this time.
All right.
So technically, this doesn't really apply to him, as I will say he has been graceful in willingly stepping down from president, although I will admit that he is still running for administrator. So this would still apply for the running of administration.
My bad.
Right,
Just
have the
replace
question.
everything I said about you and to just change it to party.
I have the question again. I absolutely missed that. Sorry.
Why do you think that the voter in the Epsilon Republic should vote for your party, given its history?
The Liberal Party has pushed for reforms, and I think our new leader, I-70, has been greatly a good leader in making, first of all, the public transport systems. Oh God, public transport systems in Lumeva greater, and I think I-70 will be a great leader for our country. The reason why I stepped down is because everyone has criticisms, and I think I should step down because I myself have done admittedly bad things, but I will say that pushing more for more democracy, as Popoku said, is vital for our republic to remain and stay integral.
Hi, sorry, another interjection from my part. I will say that yes, you have done well in reforms, but I would not. This wasn't entirely your party. Our party was as well a major proponent of the National Coalition, and we were specifically pushing for things like the eradication of censorship on the Discord, specifically to prevent another incident like this. This was from us, not the Liberal Party. And secondly, while you mentioned ICE underscore 7D, I would actually like to add that he has been bringing his friends into the Republic specifically to expand the Liberal Party. This is something we complained about earlier in this debate, and he is guilty of this rigging of the whole electoral system. A good leader will be elected into the office based on his own merits and capabilities, rather than how many friends he can bring into the party to swing the favor. The most competent leaders in history have always been the ones who have won large electoral victories based on their own merit and competence, not by how much they can rig the system in their favor, because that doesn't lead to the actual most competent leader. I am a firm proponent in the trial by fire method.
All right, I'll allow Elite to make his interjection, and then we'll have Modern respond here.
I'd like to additionally note that while Modern is still, excuse me, while Modern is not running for president or prime minister, he is still an administrator. He is still a major leader in the Liberal Party, and public transport in Lumeva does not erase the sins of thy past. I'd just like to say that.
I would like to say that, yeah, Elite Neon is correct. The fact that Modern is actually standing in I underscore, actually, I'm just going to call him 7D, is standing in his place indicates that he is still a major proponent of the Liberal Party. While he may not be the forefront or the head of it, he is still a major voice in the background of the Liberal Party. So in a way, it means that he can get less of the actual criticism from his actions while still retaining a high degree. I will admit that most parties are like this. My deputy does have a lot of sway over the party, as do people like Sesh, and yeah, Sesh is the only one that comes to mind because they are the most active members in the party. So you yourself have a significant sway in your party, for better or for worse.
All right, I'll allow Modern to respond.
I-70 was democratically elected by our party for a leader of the Liberal Party. Also, Peacemaker, who should be here but he can't, is running for Prime Minister and also the elected democratically by a party. I don't think this should be mentioned because it was democratic. But the thing is, reforms after reforms after reforms, I think this republic is now better and should stay better with our new constitution.
Hi. Okay. Sorry. One last another interjection. Peacemaker, I should add, I think he was brought onto the party and given that position because he is a close friend of I-7D, which indicates more nepotism. And yes, while he was democratically elected as head of the Liberal Party, this does not mean that what he is doing to rig and change the election by adding new members into the Republic just to vote for him does not indicate that it does just because he was democratically elected as the party head does not mean that these are not important issues. Like if he is still considered to be rigging the election by some.
Interject.
All right, yeah. I'll allow you to interject.
Everyone has the freedom of speech, and I think the reason why they voted was because they wanted to vote for the Liberal Party, not because they joined because of a friend. I think this claim is absolutely absurd, but I do have great respect for Volpe, but I think this claim is absurd, and I think the friends of friends are always welcome in the Republic to join to make us more better as a society.
All right, unless you want to interject, Popegula, I will allow Elite.
Yes. I'm thinking that Elite, not Elite. Sorry, I'm getting tripped over my own freaking words. I think that I-70 has actually admitted to bringing people into the party, into the Republic civically to vote Liberal. Like, I do believe this sort of thing has happened, and it is suspicious when, you know, the people he works to join immediately goes and then joins. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm just assuming that I-70 is, you know, being honest, which I have no reason to assume otherwise. This still means that Peacemaker, who if he is the one who is doing this, is still a fairly powerful member of the party. He is running for prime minister, and I still would not like a prime minister who is doing such actions. I think we should. Okay, I think after modern, I think I am going to stand down. I don't want this whole debate just to turn into one question, which just goes over old Epsilon history, and I think Elite is probably.
I'll allow Elite to interject, and then I'll have you interject Modern, and then we will be moving on to the next question.
Thank you for giving me the airtime. I have been very twitchy lately, and I'd just like to say, just because I-70 was elected in a party, elected the party leader for, just because he was nominated does not mean he is competent, nor does it mean that he will be unbiased. Look at President Trump.
That's
okay.
Okay.
I'll allow Modern to
Echo,
respond.
can I make my interjection now?
Oh, sure.
okay.
What is your
I want to
interjection?
ask
Sure. Go ahead.
an important question to Elite. Elite, I know that you're Zeta Republic president, so if you get president of
He is not
the
president of the Zeta
Epsilon,
Republic.
No, I think the current
oh,
president of Zeta Republic is Echo.
oh,
And
I was
notably,
going to ask if he was going to get president of uh, Epsilon Public, he would merge the both countries. But as he's not president, meh. No, you can continue.
Okay.
Yeah, York,
I'll
I would
allow
request you
Modern.
to speak louder or turn up your own microphone volume in the Discord settings. I think this would make it much easier for us to understand. Your go,
Yes.
Modern. I'm sorry.
I'll allow Modern to make his
So
statement.
What?
I would just say again that I-70 was elected democratically, and also that Peacemaker was democratically elected. Just bringing on friends doesn't mean they're already aligned with a political party. We have to go out there and campaign towards everyone who is independent, because the main issue here is independence, not voting. That's the thing. Independence, not voting for democracy. I think that's the problem in the republic, and I think I think under a liberal government we should act on that.
I'm sorry. I would like one to text. You being democratically elected by the party, and I think both Elite as commented on this, and as well as I have commented on that. And yes, while there is no real solid proof of this, but when you do get people that join onto the party and into the Republic, and the first and that they're brought on by high-ranking liberal ministers, and the first thing they do is put their vote to liberal, then it is. Yeah, I agree. I think we should move on.
Okay.
But yeah, I think everything has been said on this topic. And I think
Alright.
we all do agree that the current political system and voting may need some changes.
All right, we have hashed out this question pretty well, so I think we will move on to the next one. What is everyone's opinions on the current role of administrator? Should it be more frequently elected? Should it be abolished entirely? Or should the current status quo stay the same of having the administrator be elected like once a year? Or are they even elected ever after? I don't know. I will ask Modern Art first.
The administrator election, the administrative position under national government is set towards one parliamentary session or two following re-election. I think this is because the government, we need to refresh our administrators every year, and I think this is vital for our importance in democracy.
All right, I'll move to Opicula.
Ideally, I think that the position of administrator should be abolished entirely and replaced with a Minister of Communications, which would be attached to the basically for each election term. While yes, this would be a partisan thing, it would, and it is. This does again. I will say that the current administrators are, without a doubt, partisan. Furthermore, I think. Oh God, what am I thinking? Give me a second. I think my brain has just come out of my ear. I will go get the plunger. I'll be right back. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Okay. So I do think the administrator's position should be abolished. I actually did propose this originally before the. I would like to mention that even though it was proposed and it was voted yes, it has actually yet to happen. I would kind of like to ask why, as you are the current sitting president, but this would be something that we could work out after the debate, as I think it might have just been an error rather than any actual. But yes,
All right.
I do believe the position should be abolished and replaced with a Minister of Communications, which would be part of the government. Possibly, if it is to remain independent, however, I would not have an issue with this as long as it goes through the same electoral period as the rest of the parliament. As this is such an important position in the republic, I think it should be made so it is frequently elected. Possibly. I have proposed that it runs on the opposite cycle of the parliament, so every halfway through parliament, it basically runs on a counterclockwise manner, like the midterms in the United States, where they run every 4 years, but it's at the opposite end of the rest of it. Secondly, Modern, you mentioned it on a yearly basis. We haven't. Was that how often we will be having elections in this Europe, or will we be having them on a
Every
more?
every parliamentary session.
How long is each parliamentary session?
Whenever an election is it's declared.
Yes, but what frequency are elections declared?
Probably a month or two.
That's not very complete. Every month.
1 month to 2 months, yes.
That's not very long. Okay, I think we definitely need to sort out a actual stable electoral period. This is something we need before we set up the electoral administrators. I think I need water.
All right. Fjork has disappeared, and Elites said that his position is to abolish the position.
Well, I'd
wait
like to.
for
I'd like
particular-
to. I'd like to go on about that.
Okay.
I personally think that the position should be abolished entirely, but I think we should appoint a server ad mod to the role of administrator, and not necessarily the title of administrator. I think if any bans need to happen, it should be a server moderator, not an administrator, and that is my position. We don't need an administrator. We just need someone who's able to ban and kick and mute, and that should be a server moderator.
I would like to ask a question. As we have a current server ad mod in the ranks of it. I assume, and I would hope, that the position of server administrator would be somebody who does not actually have any connections to the political system of the Republic, such as Echo Hugh, as he is no longer a part of it, or somebody completely distant like Megaball.
Absolutely, this should not be a partisan position. This is a national security position and not partisan at any rate.
However, I will interject as well that the Constitution does have some provisions in regard to censorship, that we are more or less unable to censor something without a mod doing it. I mean, a mod declaring that. Sorry, without it actually violating server rules, and I would imagine that this would also require a public. Yeah. Okay. I echo. You have a point. I think maybe someone like. Yeah, somebody who is interested in the Republic but not actually part of the political system would possibly fit here if such a candidate does.
All
I
right.
think everybody is getting a bit tired of this.
Yes. I'll go into some of the last questions. Let's see here. All right, this is my last actual question other than closing statements. So, many members of the Zeta Republic, including myself, have expressed interest in rejoining the Epsilon Republic due to it has gotten better in the past. what would you do as a party to restore confidence in the Epsilon Republic and restore people's trust in it and what would you do to make the Epsilon Republic into a respected MPO that everyone on the server would join instead of what it currently is now, which is fairly divisive under the Liberal Party rule, at least within Zeta circles? Because I'm pretty sure that if the Epsilon Republic was more of a, a less divisive thing, that many Zeta Republic members would rather be a part of the larger MPO, and the two republics would be better off as together. So what would you do as a party to basically restore respect in the MPO or bring respect to the MPO and make people want to join, especially people in the Zeta Republic? Go on, Modern.
During the national government, me and Volpe were discussing an Epsilon Zeta merge, or is it Sans? I don't remember. We were discussing a. Right,
I do not
Sans.
recall discussing this.
So Sans was suggesting an Epsilon Zeta merge. I think that is the best way we should go. But I think making the Republic of Epsilon more intact is better and more into our interest. And also, our interest is to make for everyone in the Republic so that we can bring in more people and make this the best opportunity possible for everyone.
I think it should be acknowledged why people left. They left over concerns about the lack of democracy and censorship and kicking and other things. The reason the Epsilon has started to regain its reputation is because of the national government, under a lot of my proposals, passing increased protections of basic rights and political speech. That its reputation has begun to. Continuing on this path would be something that I would consider as an ideal way of doing this. I think if we can continue to prove to the server that we are a respectable democratic organization that values free speech, that values the political abilities and membership of its citizenry, that we will eventually start to attract people. I'm hoping that this debate itself is a good, grand step towards this, in proving that there is a political dialogue in the Epsilonian Republic about this and how to improve, and that this dialogue is open to all. And I personally invite everybody in the audience to participate in the Republic to help make it a more democratic, a more open, a more transparent community for everybody to enjoy.
Elite?
Well, I think the problem here is just liberal government. So, you know what I would do to ensure that people come back is vote for anybody that is not liberal. When the liberals are the ones who are doing the banning and the kicking and all the censorship, I think we just get rid of the liberals. I call on all Epsilon members to vote out.
Oh, hi, Fjork.
Fjork. Okay, I will allow Modern, Volpicula, and then Fjork to interject.
I think Fjork should probably go first. He hasn't been speaking much this debate.
I'll allow Fjork to interject then.
Okay, so first of all, Elite, I'd like to say that I'm not liberal, but I know there are a few liberal members that are against the kicking and the banning. As you say, that we're the liberals that ban it and kick it. Not all the liberal members kick it, everyone. So, yeah, you were quite equivocated on your argument.
Alright, I'll allow Modern Art to say his piece.
So voting liberal means more reforms, more public services and investment, and more public transportation. I think Elite's party, who was just made today, stands for basically nothing right now of the Republic, and I think vote liberal.
Okay, I'm probably going to piss somebody off by saying this, but to be honest, Elite does have a point. The Liberals were the party that caused the decline of the Republic by doing the kicking and banning and the gradual authoritarian behavior, which harmed the Republic significantly. I think another party in charge with a different set of values, with a strong commitment to democracy and freedom, much like the Llama Libertarians, for instance, a wink wink, would help restore faith in the Republic. And if not only that, if we can also prove that there is a peaceful democratic transference of power between the Liberal Party to another party, this will do leaps and bounds towards the furtherment and the Republic. Yes, airplane guy, I'm blaming the Liberals for Epsilon's decline. I think even the Liberals will admit that actions of some of the higher-ranking Liberal members caused this decline. They will, like, such as, I'm going to say it, Modern and other ones involved, such as Extreme, who are both Liberal members, did cause this decline. Fjork does have a point that not all members of the Liberal Party did this. I7 and Peacemaker had no part in this decline, but it was high-ranking members of the Liberal Party that did cause. Some of those members are still of significant influence in the party.
All right, I will allow Modern Art to make his statement.
Also, the party that we are also the party who bring up the Republic back to stability and back to control.
That was not your party.
Control of the people.
I would add that was not your party alone. This was
the national government.
Yes, this was a national government. A lot of the proposals that really seem to have resonated were proposed by members of the Llama Libertarians, such as the guarantee of free speech. And my party is the one that has been leading the charge of democracy. We were the ones who brought on the table the elections for administrator candidates. I think if any party has been fighting this hard for democracy, it is the Llama Libertarians. I think one of the major groups that we lost during the incident was when a lot of the People's Party members left. We are the closest party to what that party stood for, and if we want the Republic to grow, I think attracting some of the members of that party back is a fantastic way of doing that. And I see the political platform that Llama Libertarians holds as being the best and easiest path to that. As for stability, I think that stability that Extreme did mention that what his actions were for are stability, but if stability entails kicking and banning those dissidents, I want no part of that stability. I would rather have a chaotic system with free speech and disagreement than I would like to live in a stable system that kicks and represses its members. I think if the Republic ever does descend back to that, like it had under the precursor of the Liberal Party, the Republic is in no brief fucked.
All right. Did anyone want to respond, or can I ask my last?
Yes, I've been asking for an interjection for the past 5
Okay,
minutes.
I'll allow Elite to interject. Oh, and then Fjork.
Look, I'd like to reiterate the point that just because the Liberal government is putting forward infrastructure proposals in the state of Lumeba does not mean that they are at any rate the right people to lead this country. The Liberals caused the problems, and they're trying to spin this and say by building trains and franchises that the problems are fixed. Well, the problems are not fixed. We still have an administrator. We still have a Liberal government, and we still have corruption in this nation. Elect anybody other than the Liberals, and that will be fixed.
I would like to add to Elite Act. The infrastructure projects you've mentioned, as from what I can tell, most cities on the Republic have not actually been that affected by it. I'm Monte Isola. I have seen not even a mention. I mean, that is to some degree my own opinion, but a lot of projects that I have seen do not seem to be affecting most cities. I will acknowledge that there has been some more widespread things. These state schools, of which there is actually one in this very city, has been pioneered by the current National Coalition, which is one of the good things they have done. And if they can keep that up, then yes, the Liberals could definitely help the party or help the system and throw its past of repression and autocracy behind it. But I do not think it will be enough. I do not think it will restore the confidence needed for the Republic to thrive and possibly rival or even outgrow Zeta. If we can do well enough, Zeta might not even need to exist. We could form a unified one, but we need Epsilon to be in a state where it is able to attract and garner the confidence of Zeta members for this to even happen.
I would like to agree with Vulpicula, as I am president of Zeta, that if reforms are put in place that the Zeta populace does like, then I would seriously consider campaigning for the Zeta Republic to rejoin Epsilon. Anyways, I would like to ask one last question to Modern Art before we do our questions from the public. Modern, if the Liberal Party was to be defeated by the populace, and if you were defeated as administrator, would you commit to distancing yourself from the Republic instead of trying to
keep on reforming and keep on making sure that this republic will be stabilized to make it better, since this is what I created. I don't think this is this thing of me leaving should ever even occur.
Are you saying this like you have no intention of ever distancing yourself from the Republic, or are you saying this is like you will continue to be politically active in the Republic and continue fighting? And is it democratic for Modern to always keep a hold on power? Because I don't think it is. I think it is normal for a political leader to at some point lose their power, and there is nothing wrong with it. It is just democracy at work. I think a constant change in the political ruling class is a fantastic way of keeping an actual true democracy. We are standing on the groundwork of what could be the MRT's first global democracy that works for its people and does far better than the United Cities ever did. We just need the right person and the right reforms to get that ball rolling. And I do hope that following this debate, people will consider these things more closely and possibly possibly decide the election based on what we have said today.
All right. So I will now ask for your closing statements from all four of you here on this stage. We have had a good and democratic debate this time, and I am very glad that this is happening. It does bring legitimacy to this republic, and I am glad that everyone has agreed to come here today. I will ask Modern Art first for his closing statement.
Voting Liberal, your voice will be heard. Our reforms will change the way the Republic has shaped since then. The Liberal Party has been the strongest party ever since the formation of the Republic. We strive for our liberal conservative values of integrity, prosperity, and opportunity. I think that the Lama Libertarians are also a good party, but I think from my perspective, the Liberal Party is the best party for your choice, because we are delivering the public services and public transport and infrastructure we need in the Republic to connect and to make the Republic more prosperous. I endorse I-70 for President of the Republic, and also I endorse Peacemaker X5 for Prime Minister of the Republic.
All right. Is that all for you? We, the Libertarians, have been fighting for democracy since back when the People's Party was. We have been successful in challenging Article 33, and we did actually successfully cause the original draft of the Constitution to go through a period of electoral debate and discussion on every single amendment, rather than the Liberal Party's proposal of just passing it through wholesale with very little review. We again successfully challenged that draft, and as a result, we got strong protections against censorship, strong protections in favor of political speech and political freedom, and strong protections in terms of the overall civil rights that the Republic is dependent on to continue functioning. We fought for the democratization of the administrator position, and we're not stopping here. There is far more that we could do to make the Republic a truly democratic place. We want to enforce the Constitution, and we want to continue to decentralize and spread more power to these states to allow them to foster the connections of transportation that they deserve with each other. We will use the proposals we have put in place to raise money for the Epsilon Republic to help pay for and ensure that the builders of these projects do get paid. They will get what they need. We will put the projects through the GSMs and back them to ensure that they are able to, again, get the transportation links that these states desire and deserve to continue their prosperity into the indefinite future. I implore you to consider our party. We have a long history of fighting for your rights, for your democracy, and for the Republic. We have received many endorsements, but at the end of the day, the endorsements do not matter if we cannot get you to lend you our vote, lend you your vote. And a new party in power would, again, as I have elaborated earlier, would greatly prove to the rest of the MRT, especially the Zeta Republic, that this republic is flexible and able to handle a peaceful transfer of power. If we can pull this off, I guarantee you that the Epsilon Republic is fantastic in its current position. We can continue this grand framework to build a massive republic that is fully democratic and can last far longer than the United Cities. This could be a amazingly fun endeavor for everybody involved. We just need you to lend you our vote and trust us to deliver the policies that we are pledging. I leave it to Fjork, and if he's not here, I leave it to
I'm
Elite.
here.
Oh, okay.
All right, Fjork, for
Go
your
right
closing
ahead.
statement.
So, as my closing assignment, I'd like to say that the Labour Party is going to reprove that I that we really can handle a whole MPO for that I can handle to care of a whole MPO. This party, Fjork, we're fighting for a true democracy since the Democratic Republic of Fjorkistan, not the United Kingdom of Fjorkistan. I think someone here remember like Echo of the I think of the Fjorkistan presidential elections that Echo won, and I really want to prove the MRT that I can really be a good president. Not for you, not for me, not for the staff, not for just the members, but for everyone. I really make you proud of be part of this community. We just need your vote to make this real. I leave the speak to it's your turn.
The state of the union is not good. There are no opportunities in this great nation because of the liberal government. Get rid of the liberal government. You can still have your public transport. You can still have your public education. You can still have your public health. You can have your public everything. But you get rid of the liberal government, You get rid of the liberal government, then there will be democracy.
Excuse me, Elite. I'm just going to ask, you've spent so much time in this debate tearing down the Liberal Party, but you haven't actually built yourself up to do anything. What are your goals? You should probably be including that in your statement, not just how crap the Liberals are.
You should say what your party really wants instead of stating how the liberals are trash, because again, not all liberals are trash. Even modern and extreme will start everything. I know that inside of their hearts they are really good people.
All right, Elite, feel free to make the rest of your closing statement.
Look, I joined the Epsilon Republic again 10 minutes before this debate. I stand for democracy. If I do not care if I'm the minority voice on any opinion, as long as it's democratic, I'm fine with it. Me personally, I like a strong federal government, as long as the federal government doesn't go completely out of bounds. I I am for public infrastructure. I'm for public commuter rail. I'm for public rights. I am basically a llama libertarian. But at this point, it's too late. I joined the ER 10 minutes before the debate, and so I'm here. And so, in all honesty, I don't really have an end goal for this. I'm just here to have a little fun. Now, going back to my earlier point, don't vote liberal. Have a good night.
Are we doing public questions? Should there
Yes,
actually?
we are.
If you
All
could
right.
actually queue up the serious questions before the shit post, that would be fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
I have to pee, so make it quick. Okay, Echo. I need to ask a more senior mod. Can I kick Camel Fantasy right now? Is this considered a violation of free speech? Because he fucking deserves it.
Flip a coin.
I flip one and I didn't see where it went, so I'm gonna say. I feel much better now.
All right. Will there be any other questions from the public here? Anyone who is in this voice chat, feel free to propose questions right now.
I do have a question, just a curiosity. Um, the
Take your time. Don't mind me. I'm gonna go do some dancing on the podium. Fjork, are you still present?
Fior,
yeah,
what's your question?
yeah, that's my question.
You didn't
Could
ask
you
a question.
could you restate
I
your
asked-
question, please?
Okay, so if if our MPOs continue growing, are you listening?
Yes, we are on
Mhm.
this team.
If the MPOs still growing fast, what will be the between the MRT and the MPOs? What would be the difference between Zeta and Epsilon and the MRT?
This is more of a general question. Um, the Epsilon has its own systems that are unique from the MRT. The MRT is not democratic. It is governed by staff which decide through GSMs and other ruling. While Epsilon sets its own internal rules and infrastructure and cooperates. Like the staff, we don't plan out other people's building projects or help these along. We leave this to them to decide. Well, Epsilon would take a far more active role in assisting the transportation projects of its constituents. We again, Epsilon is also actually democratic. The MRT is not, unfortunately.
All right.
You know you're
Do-
saying this right in front to a staff member, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
no,
know that.
we entirely acknowledge that the MRT is not
I am
a
a staff member.
democracy.
Frumple himself
We-
has admitted that this is not a democracy, and he's very clear about it.
The
Because
MRT is a great and glorious dictatorship, and that's the way it should be. But
Glory to
Epsilon has its...
Frumplestan!
Yes.
Hey,
The
gamer.
Glory
Epsilon
to our
has its
thoughts.
role as a democracy on the server.
Is there any other questions?
Alright.
I think we're done. Oh, okay. Go
If
ahead.
anyone else has anything to say, like Elite, then they may feel free to do so.
Alright, I caught this thing pretty early.
No,
Oh,
you
hi, Sans. Would
No,
you like
no,
to make a closing statement, Sans?
you could not have come any later. We were like a minute away from actually from ending the.
Great.
If Elite Neo didn't have a comment, we would have probably finished it by now.
Thing is, I would make a closing statement, but I didn't participate in any of the other debates, so I don't even know what to say.
You could probably watch a video online just to see what
You could
happened.
probably just say, like, your platform, etc. Like,
Yes.
what
Yeah.
differs you from the other parties?
Basically,
opinion.
I'm gonna say what happened in sense.
No, you
So,
just
first-
actually you can just watch the whole thing later. Like the thing that
Okay.
the debate.
Yeah.
To
Feel
say-
free to put closing statements or whatever in the Epsilon Republic Discord.
Yeah, I'll just watch the whole thing later.
Yeah.
Anyways, maybe I should make some sort of closing statement.
Yeah, may I speak now?
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead while Sans is making up his statement.
Okay, so
Hello,
I will.
gamers. Welcome to
Sans, just let
closing
Elite
Sans,
speak. please.
let's let Elite make his statement.
Alright. So all
Elite.
I have to say is, if you want government building,
Order! There will be order in the Senate.
cooperation with
Sans,
data, if you
Sans,
want
Sans.
new administration, if you
Sans.
want a new election system, vote
Sans,
for
you- oh.
Social Democrats. That's all.
You know what?
Thanks.
Whatever. Let's let Sans.
Sans, just let Elite speak. You can speak after, all right? We already agreed that he'd delete. Maybe later an airplane. I don't want to
Okay.
traumatize the children.
Okay, I only joined the presidential race to be in this debate, and well, I'm not going to win, so I will be endorsing the Llama Libertarians because it's kind of obvious that we share most of our positions. I'd like to implore everybody in the Epsilon Republic to vote Llama Libertarian. I'd like to stress that this was just a decision I made up 5 seconds ago, and not at the beginning of this. I had the intent of doing well in a debate, which I did not do. So I will be.
I think you did fine.
I will be endorsing the fittest person for the job, and I sincerely believe that is Walt Picula. May God bless you, and may God bless the MRT.
All right.
Before Sans talk, I just want to say the exact same thing that Elite said. No, I'm not gonna win. Like, I never win. So, I'm also endorsing the Llama Libertarians. Please vote the Llama Libertarians, but vote the Labour Party too. If you.
All right. Is there anything anyone else has to say, or should we close down this debate?
Liberal.
It's still the Sans still has his closing statement that he can make now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sans.
Sans, you might want to make yours while no one's interrupting.
Yeah, we actually have something that we don't have anything to say for once. That is the first time it's happened during the. We've talked ourselves out.
And
Sans?
Sans. Okay.
Is this the closing statement?
Yes.
How does it feel,
Yes.
baby? How does it feel?
What the fuck?
Elite, please
Alright,
no.
I'll close out my debate right. So, you want centralization and government buildings? Do you want possible cooperation with the Zeta Republic? Do you want a new voting system and a new voting procedure? Do you want administrator reform? And yeah, vote Social Democrat if you want those things, right? There we go. That's my closing statement.
All right.
Okay, so right to the crap post.
The crap post. What do you mean? You mean the shit post, right?
I believe the honorable man from Fjorkesburg means the shit post.
Yes, the shit post. In this country, we call them shit posts because we are free to swear.
All right.
Yes,
Anyways,
but for me, this word, the S8 word, is a curse word, so I prefer not to.
Anyways, what were you
folks,
saying?
thank you for attending this debate. It's an honor to be the moderator of this debate, and I hope that the democratic process will be fulfilled in the coming days, weeks. I don't know how long this election goes. Make sure that everyone here make sure to vote, and thank you to the 4 candidates or 5 candidates technically now on stage for engaging in the
A rerun
democratic
of the
process.
votes.
May yeah, we are doing a rerun of the vote, but may I close the statement with a final hot? It is a culture of Monte Isola. It is a traditional sound of screaming that we do whenever we are amused, in distress, about to mate, or something of that similar nature.
Go ahead.
Honk! My honking is subpar. I am so sorry. I would like to defer HVT as the superior honker in this respect. I will never get a mate with honks like that. I am a failure to my. There we go.
Wait, did HVT honk? I didn't hear
Yes, that was HVT. That glorious bastard.
All right, thanks everyone for attending. Great day.
Oh, this was actually quite fun. All of you did pretty well here. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Liberal.
No,
Vote
I
for
think